Mavs fans, thank you so much for helping me get my Twitter account to 20,000 followers. Y'all are awesome. If you don't follow me already, you can find me on Twitter at all_things_Mavs. But if you do already follow me, go ahead and type me in the comment section. I want to see how many of my YouTube subscribers are crossed over from my Twitter account as well. I appreciate all y'all. Now, let's get into the latest Dallas Mavericks news and rumors.
All things Mavs.
We're going to start off today's show with talking about one of the newest Dallas Mavericks in James Johnson. And unfortunately, not great news to share, but he is dealing with a minor MCL sprain. Now, luckily, it is minor, as I just mentioned, which means it's really not a big deal. And Rick Carlisle has most recently stated that he has gotten mixed back into 5-on-5 play, which is really, really important for the Dallas Mavericks to get their new guys kind of under control and really get them to learn the system as quickly as possible, because the preseason is literally getting going on Saturday. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about James Johnson aside from the injury and what he brings to this team as a player. Although, as you'll see here in a moment, it's not just what he does on the court that really impacts this team. But you look at last year, and when he was with Miami, he wasn't getting many minutes. The Heat were kind of trending in a different direction. They weren't using him quite as much, and you can see his numbers showed in that. He had a couple games where he played more than 20 minutes per night, or 20 minutes in those nights, and he put up really solid numbers, putting up 20 points per game in the games in which he played 20-plus minutes. But then he gets shipped off to Minnesota in a bit of a salary dump, and that's where we saw the old James Johnson kind of come back to life as he put up 12 points per game in 14 games. 5 boards, 4 assists. He was a good defender at 1.4 blocks per game, and he shot the three well at 37%. But where I'm the most excited about James Johnson is what he brings off the floor to this team. And Trey Burke has already talked about the impact that he's had in training camp, despite not even attending practice or not even being involved in the practices in the 5-on-5s quite yet. Trey Burke said from day one, he's been very vocal. You can tell a leader is just who he is, to tell guys what they need to hear and not what they want to hear. We're going to need that from him all year long. And as you guys know, the dude's an MMA fighter. He's got a black belt. He's bringing that mental edge and that mental toughness, but it's already beginning to trend over into the other players on this team, and I think it's going to benefit the Mavs in the long run. When this is a team that is looking to make a push into the second round of the playoffs, you got to have a tough, gritty defender like James Johnson. Now, something you guys need to have nowadays is a face mask. You need to have one that reps your favorite team, the Dallas Mavericks. Chatsports.com/Mavs mask has got you covered. So you go to this link, which I'll have in the description of this video for you as well. You can go pick yours up today, or do what I've done and get these for people on your Christmas list. You got to check them off, so you might as well do it and stick these in their stockings this Christmas. Chatsports.com/Mavs mask is the best place to go, where all these masks right now, you can find them for up to 20% off. Whether it's just one, you get the packs of 2, packs of 3, or packs of 4. They're all on sale right now at this link. Now let's talk about Josh Richardson a little bit, because he has officially been penciled in as the starter for this Dallas Mavericks team. And there were some people out there that were like, no, he's going to be more of a 6-man. Now, I don't know why people ever assumed that, or why any reporters that were asking Rick Carlisle about that were ever kind of under that assumption, because the Mavs traded for this guy to be a starter and to fill in as the best defender on this Mavericks team. And Rick was asked about it, and he goes, yeah, as of right now, we've got Josh Richardson penciled in as our day one starter, and day one, of course, is on December 23rd, so be watching out for that. We'll see where he has him in the preseason as well, but obviously preseason rotations are a little bit different. Now, over the past 4 years, Rich's numbers have looked a little bit different. Now, he started off as he was kind of a second-round pick. He was a second-round pick, I should say. Spent a lot of time in the G League early on with the Miami Heat, but he quickly climbed up into 2018-19 when he was averaging 17 points per game, 4 boards, and 36% from 3. And at that time, the Heat were saying, hey, this is a guy we're going to build around, and he's going to be a part of our future for the long haul. But then they shipped him off to Philadelphia because they had a chance to go out and get Jimmy Butler. And he kind of had a down year in Philly simply because that rotation and that role was not cut out for him. A team that doesn't have a lot of floor spacing is not good for a player like Josh Richardson. So he's going to come in right away and be that day one starter. And now, if you want more updates throughout the season, the preseason, the regular season, hopefully deep into the postseason, make sure you subscribe to the channel at youtube.com/allthingsmavs and click this little notification bell. Where is it? Right there. When you click on that, it gives you notifications. It's like you're getting a text from me personally every single day when I post a brand new video. So go ahead and subscribe today to youtube.com/allthingsmavs. Help me continue to grow this channel for all my Mavs fans for life. Now let's take a look at that starting five. When healthy, I think this is what you're going to be looking at. I've mentioned it before on the show, but I kind of want to do a quick recap. Luka, Tim, Dwight Powell, Kristaps Porzingis, and Josh Richardson. And Dwight Powell, yes, he has been getting minutes and time with the starting unit. Rick Carlisle confirmed that to us today. He has explicitly said he looks good and he's ready to go. But I want to take a minute and focus on the guy who I think has kind of become the forgotten man in this rotation, and it's Tim Hardaway Jr. When you look back at last season, historically amongst Mavs players, and really throughout the season as a whole, he was one of the best three-point shooters when it comes to volume and percentage. He was taking a lot, but he was also making up to 40% of the shots he took. Tim Hardaway should not be overlooked. Sure, he had a bit of a down time in the bubble. He wasn't as strong in the playoffs as we would have liked him to be. But if he proves, maybe he's off one night and Josh Richardson can be on one night, or maybe vice versa. They both don't have to be averaging 15 points per game all the time. But I don't want to forget about how important Tim Hardaway Jr. is to this team. But now we got two wings that kind of play similar positions, and I think they'll both be starting because I think they can both coexist pretty well together. Who do you think averages more points per game, though? Type JR for Josh Richardson or THJ for Tim Hardaway Jr. I'm going to say they both average around 14 or 15. I'll give the offensive edge a little bit here to Tim, but defensively and all around, I think Josh Richardson's going to make the bigger impact. Now, we got some new odds coming out about the Dallas Mavericks, about the NBA as a whole, and I wanted to update you on the latest odds to win it all this year. Now, you see the top five. The Mavs are clearly not in that running. It goes the Lakers, and then it's a steep drop-off to the Clippers, the Bucks, and the Nets at plus 550 two times, and then plus 600. And then another steep drop-off before we get into the next tier where the Boston Celtics sit at plus 1,300. But then you go into 6 through 10, and our Dallas Mavericks are coming in right there at plus 2,200. And I know it's not great. You know, you're not top five like you would have wanted to be, but you're way better off than you were at the beginning of last year. And this means that the Mavs are legitimate contenders this year as they come in 8th in the odds to win it all next season. But, you know, for this Mavs team, it's not championship or bust. They're also looking to make a push in the Western Conference. And you know what? I think these odds are too low. Plus 1,100? Are you kidding me? And the next one is plus 275 at the Clippers. I think the Mavs are way closer to the Clippers than that far off. I think that's absolutely ridiculous, and I think the Mavs have a true chance to prove themselves early on in the season as they'll take on the Lakers and the Clippers back-to-back, and you'll have to watch them play out. And if they do, I think you'll see those odds change. And then you got the Southwest Division. I know nobody really cares about divisions anymore because divisions really don't matter that much except when it comes to playing everyone in your division one more time than everybody else in your conference. But the Mavs, by far, the favorites to win the Southwest Division at minus 200. The Rockets are the next ones in there at plus 480 as it currently stands with James Harden on their team. But that could change assuming the diva himself, James Harden, gets shipped off sooner rather than later. So you saw the odds. You saw the teams that are the favorites to win it in the West. So who do you think wins it? I want you to make your predictions below. Do you think it's the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Clippers, or the Mavericks? I don't think any other team is really that close in the running. Maybe the Jazz. Maybe you really like the Suns. But I think the Mavs are a good pick. But it's kind of hard to go against the defending NBA champions, the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, I did want to break down the preseason schedule because if you haven't seen it already, well, I don't know what you're waiting on. But the Mavs will play the Milwaukee Bucks twice. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves on Thursday, December 17th. That's right, the first game is this Saturday night. Yes, it's literally happening. Now, unfortunately for me, I will be stuck in the armpit of Texas, a.k.a. Houston, this weekend. So I don't know how much I'm going to get to watch. So I'm going to rely on you guys to give me a little bit of a recap on my Twitter. So make sure you're following me over there. But I want to focus on this because see the Bucks twice there? You know what that means? It's hashtag tampering season with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Mavs will get a chance to get some up-close and personal FaceTime with them, and you guys know what to do. Anytime we talk about Giannis here on All Things Mavs, I want you to use hashtag Giannis to Dallas in the comment section. You guys know the drill by now. Let's see just how many hashtag Giannis to Dallases we can get in the comments of this video.